99% of people struggle with charisma, so I looked into why your efforts might not be working. In this video, I'll show you the 5 key things charismatic people do really well and walk you through how to bring those into your own life. Plus, by the end, I'll share one important tip that ties everything together so you won't forget the key points to boost your charisma. Charisma isn't a magical trait that only a lucky few are born with. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned. What's funny is that we're all given the perfect environment to develop it at a young age. Think about it. The first 15 to 20 years of your life, you're in school, surrounded by people your age, constantly interacting, learning social cues, and figuring out how to make others laugh or feel good. Yet, despite that, many people still struggle to unlock their full potential when it comes to being charismatic. A few years ago, I knew a guy who wasn't charismatic at all. He was chill, but he couldn't communicate his ideas clearly, so people didn't pay attention to him. He mostly kept to himself, but over time, something changed. He didn't suddenly turn into some life of the party type, but people started noticing him, wanting to be around him. He was making friends effortlessly. What happened? He didn't fake it, and he didn't try to be someone he wasn't. Instead, he focused on a few simple things that unlocked his natural charisma. One of the biggest, storytelling. A good story grabs people. It makes them lean in. My friend stopped making conversations about facts and started sharing moments, things that made people laugh, think, or just feel connected. For example, instead of saying, "I had a rough day," he'd tell you how he spilled coffee in a meeting and turned it into a joke everyone loved. Storytelling isn't just talking, it's creating an experience. And the best storytellers, they don't make it all about themselves. They bring others into the story. That's what makes people listen. And remember, be authentic, not perfect. The first thing to understand is that charisma doesn't mean being extroverted or the loudest person in the room. In fact, trying too hard to be someone you're not can backfire. People are remarkably good at detecting inauthenticity, and when they do, it makes the interaction awkward. Instead, focus on being authentic. If you're not a fan of loud parties, don't force yourself to go just to work on your charisma. Some of the best conversations can happen in quieter settings, like a coffee shop, or even while waiting in line for something. The key is to find environments where you feel comfortable enough to start meaningful conversations. Make people feel good. Charismatic people have one major thing in common. They make others feel valued. Imagine someone asks for your help with something like carrying a heavy object. Their trust in you makes you feel capable and appreciated. That's the kind of effect charismatic people have on everyone around them. They create moments where others feel special. This doesn't mean you have to flatter people constantly. Instead, focus on showing genuine interest in what others say. When someone's talking, don't interrupt or plan your response while they're still speaking. Truly listen, and when they're done, ask thoughtful questions to keep the conversation going. This simple habit can make a huge difference in how people perceive you. Use banter to build trust. It can boost your charisma by creating a fun vibe and building trust. It shows you're comfortable with the person and keeps things relaxed. For example, if a friend's driving slow, you might say, "Are we parked? I didn't know this was a sightseeing tour." It keeps things playful and light. But here's the catch. There's a fine line between playful banter and being mean. Insulting someone to get a laugh doesn't build trust. It destroys it. The goal is to make both people feel good, not tear anyone down. Ask unpredictable, interesting questions. One of the biggest traps in social interactions is small talk. It's predictable and boring, and it doesn't leave a lasting impression. To avoid this, ask questions that surprise and intrigue people. For example, instead of asking, "What do you do for work?" you could ask, "What's something you're really proud of but don't talk about often?" These kinds of questions not only make the conversation more engaging, but also show that you're genuinely interested in getting to know the person. Once you start asking better questions, you'll notice that conversations become more fun and memorable for both parties. Add value to conversations. Charismatic people don't just talk, they add value to every interaction. This could mean sharing an interesting story, offering a thoughtful perspective, or even just being a good listener. Think of every conversation as a two-way street where both people should walk away feeling like they gained something. For instance, if someone shares a challenge they're facing, instead of immediately jumping in with advice, you could share a similar experience you had and how you dealt with it. The power of patience. Stop trying so hard. Charisma isn't about memorizing tricks or forcing yourself into uncomfortable situations. It's a gradual process that comes with practice and patience. Becoming the best version of yourself takes time. Start small, be patient, and enjoy the process.